Was a Brock Purdy masterclass kind of day at 49ers training camp. Practice number 2, Brock Purdy 13 of 14 completions with ease to all parts of the field, including a bomb to George Kittle off his back foot. Hit Kittle in stride down the sideline. We'll have a Purdy to Kittle bomb counter. That's 2 in 2 days. But guess who made the most sensational play of 49ers camp so far? It was Isaiah Neyor. Yes, the rookie wide receiver, undrafted free agent. Dane Brugler said that this was potentially the most athletic prospect in the entire 2025 rookie class. He hauled in a bomb from Mac Jones in triple coverage about 50 yards downfield. Jason Pinnock was down there. A couple other 49ers DBs were down there. It was just a crowd of defensive backs. And Isaiah Neyor, 6'4", 218, went up and got the football. Remember, this guy was inconsistent in college, but showed all the ability in flashes in college. And I think that injury issues had something to do with it. He obviously transferred a couple times, he began his career at Wyoming, then he went to Texas, and then he finished at Nebraska. If he can show any type of consistency, Isaiah Neyor has an opportunity, especially given where the 49ers receiver room is right now, to make this roster, at least stick in the building at the practice squad and continue to develop as a player, because he's got all the athletic ability in the world. Now, talk about the 49ers receiver room. They had to sign another guy today, Quintez Cephus, formerly of the Detroit Lions. So the 49ers going for the Name Hall of Fame over the past couple days as far as their receiver signings go. Equanimeous St. Brown, Quintez Cephus now aboard for the 49ers, because Jacob Cowing is probably going to miss at least a cluster of practices with the hamstring that he hurt during the first practice session. So Kyle Shanahan likes to have 10 available receivers to get through these practices, and that's why he had to sign Equanimeous St. Brown, and that's why he's had to add Quintez Cephus on top of that for the 49ers to continue operating. All right, let's go through practice today. I mentioned Purdy was 13 of 14. I know that there was that big throw to Kittle down the sideline. The only incompletion came on, it was either intended for George Kittle or Russell Gage. Both guys were running crossing routes. I'm not sure who Purdy was intending to hit. It just sailed both of them. Looked like he had them open, but other than that, Brock was sharp to all parts of the field. Tanner Mordecai struggled today. That's the 49ers' third-string quarterback. Mac Jones is going to be the backup. Tanner struggled, threw an interception to Stone Blanton. A lot of people have been asking about the undrafted rookie linebacker out of Mississippi State. Well, he was sitting there, got a gift from Tanner Mordecai early in practice. That was the only INT of the day. Jordan James, I've got to talk about him. I just can't wait until the pads come on, and I can't wait till the preseason games, because that's when the running backs really have a chance to shine. Jordan James, rookie 5th-round pick out of Oregon, it just looks like he's comfortable running the football. I know I'm saying that a lot, and I also gauge running backs a lot by what they can do coming out of the backfield in the pass game. He had several catches today for the 49ers. Just looks like a vet. I mean, this is somebody that Frank Gore approved of before the selection in the 5th round. And, Frank Gore identifies running backs who can play the position. He's not just going to be looking for athletic freaks, because Frank Gore himself wasn't an athletic freak. He's somebody who knew how to play the position, the nuances of the game. He had the P's and the Q's taken care of. And I think that Jordan James is giving me those vibes for the 49ers. I mentioned Russell Gage a little bit earlier. Given all this receiver upheaval for the 49ers right now, he's the guy that seems to be making the most out of his opportunity. Close to 30, 29-year-old receiver, veteran, came into the league with the Falcons. He made 3 catches today, including kind of a diving, sliding catch over the middle. And, we're talking about Russell Gage against Upton Stout yesterday. He made that catch where Upton Stout just kind of mistimed what could have been a pick 6, but you still have to give Gage credit for grabbing the football. At this point, it's up for grabs in the receiver room. So you look at Isaiah Neyor, who made a couple plays, including the diving deep catch today. You look at Russell Gage, who's on the opposite end of the spectrum toward the end of his career, probably a veteran, and you give these guys credit for making the most out of some early opportunities at 49ers training camp. And who else is shining right now is Demarcus Robinson. He just looks like a vet. He just plucked the ball out of midair on a crossing route. early. That was from Purdy. Purdy and Robinson seem to be developing a solid rapport. Obviously, Purdy and Jennings already have it. It was interesting. Juwan Jennings, that he plays in practices with so much passion. You wouldn't know that this guy wants a new contract right now because other players have handled such situations so differently. But there was a play early where Mac Jones checked the ball down to the running back before Juwan Jennings came out of his break, and it looked like Jennings was going to be open coming out of his break. And Juwan was very upset, just not showing up as quarterback, but just showing that emotion that I think he runs off of on the football field. And then a little bit later on, Mac Jones did find Juwan Jennings over the middle of the field, and unfortunately, the ball slipped out of Juwan's fingertips and fell incomplete. And obviously, Juwan was upset about that. It was just like a little glimpse into the play-in, play-out saga of Juwan Jennings at practice. He just cares so much, and there's never going to be a playoff. I don't think it would be in his DNA to hold out or hold in or do any of that. And I think that's, when the 49ers talk about how much they love Juwan Jennings, that is the essence of what they really, really appreciate about this football player. Braden Willis, tight end, made a sliding catch. We got to talk about that 49ers tight end position. I mean, these guys this year, beyond George Kittle and Luke Farrell, I think that it's a complete free-for-all. I mean, we could talk about somebody like Mason Pline. Can he take the next step for San Francisco? Is the old vet Ross Dwelly going to come in and grab that third tight end job? Braden Willis is obviously somebody who's been with this team now for a couple years. So anytime that Braden Willis makes a catch, especially a bigger one, George Kittle was really happy about it, patted him on the back. It's just announcing that, hey, I'm still part of this group as well. It's going to be interesting to see if the 49ers carry 3 or 4 as his usual tight ends on the 53-man roster. Jordan Watkins, another couple catches toward the end of practice today. It's somebody that we're going to continue keeping an eye out for. Rookie out of Ole Miss, had a strong OTA session, and now especially with Jacob Cowing is going to have a little bit more of an opportunity. You know what's interesting is how the 49ers are using Michael Williams on the defensive side of the football. I've already seen him lined up at multiple spots. I think that we've already seen more blitz diversity from the 49ers in 2 training camp practices than we did all of last season. I know that Robert Saleh doesn't necessarily like the blitz a lot, but we know that he's going to add more creativity to the defense than the 49ers had last year. It was another day of seeing that imposing 49ers defensive line off in their corner. Saleh came over at the start of practice. I mean, he's, the president of the defense, right? So I just thought it was a great shot of Robert Saleh walking across the practice field, surveying what the defensive line was doing for about 2 minutes. Had a couple words to say to Alfred Collins. I don't know what it was, a coaching point to Alfred Collins. And then Saleh just walked on back. He's never getting too sucked into one side of the field. He's got to observe that whole defense. And then Robert talked a little bit after practice today about D. Winters, and then D spoke as well. Just said that D, and I'm sure that Robert, when he came back to the 49ers, he had to do a crash course because there's only a couple players, guys like Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, who are holdovers from the last time that Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator. And one of the guys in that crash course was almost certainly D. Winters, the 49ers third-year linebacker who's in that linebacker 2 spot. Luke Gifford's in that linebacker 3 spot as Nick Martin develops. And D's going to be so important for what the 49ers are going to do. And, I think it's unfortunate in retrospect, but D didn't get a full load of snaps last year because Devondre Campbell got them instead. And Saleh said that it's going to be about repetition. It's going to be about doing for D. Winters. We talk about the interception he had of Brock Purdy during the first practice. D said that that's a play and a formation that he saw at OTAs, recognized that formation again and said, I'm going to pounce on it this time. And he had that interception. So the more that D. Winters can do against first-team players with the first-team defense, the more comfortable he'll be. And he's obviously first in line for the 49ers in their attempt to replace Dre Greenlaw. 49ers rotating first-team slot cornerbacks. Upton Stout has some opportunities there. It's the rookie. But Trey Brown, don't forget about him. He played some solid football for Seattle. I think it was injuries that derailed Trey more than anything. He's also getting some first-team reps at that slot position. And as of right now, Marquise Siegel, rookie, second team safety. And we'll see if he eventually starts getting some first team work with Malik Mustafa out. But I think in the case of Martin and Siegel, those are two guys, it's going to take some time. Even Malik Mustafa didn't get in on it as a first teamer until a few games into the 2024 regular season. And you know what I'll have to say? Christian McCaffrey looks so ready. He looks so good out there. Right? McCaffrey is locked in. He's in shape. He's healthy. It is hard to overemphasize how impressive he's looked out on the football field. I might have been joking the other day, but it might be real. He might have actually gained the step. He's one motivated guy out on the practice field. And I will say that Purdy to Kittle remains lethal. Also, I'm just looking through some of my notes here. Isaac Guerendo moving well. Kyle Shanahan complimented him yesterday, said he came through with that rehab very aggressively after the injury in the final game of the season. And, you know, with Guerendo, he's just such a speed-based player, but you forget that he's 220 pounds. And that's what makes him so special. That's why we had athletic comps to Saquon Barkley with some of the metrics coming out of the draft, because he can run that 4.3 at 220, which is extremely, extremely rare. Yet another weapon for somebody like Brock Purdy, who was in full command of the 49ers offense today. 13 of 14, only incompletion was a pass that he sailed over the middle, but he had command of the deep throws. He had command over the intermediate ones to Demarcus Robinson. And some of the short throws, there was one where Patrick Taylor Jr. leaked out of the backfield, and the 49ers had the defense set up perfectly. The little leak and the little swing route over to the far side, Purdy through the rainbow led Taylor. Big gain for Patrick Taylor Jr. So you like to see Brock Purdy in command of all the proceedings, and that is what happened for the 49ers today. All right, day 3 coming up. There's your instant reaction. All right, what's your name?
Randy.
What'd you think of practice today?
It was great, man. It was great. Yeah.
How far did you come from?
I came from Hayward.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Cool. What was your favorite play at practice?
Well, when JJ caught the ball, you know what I'm saying? He missed the first one, but he caught the second one.
How about that diving catch from Isaiah Neyor?
It was awesome. Yes. We're going places, dude.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too, brother.